All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody's well and fine. I am here with Susan Sparks Burns, who is a prison advocate here in the state of Georgia. Thanks for everybody for jumping on with us uh, this afternoon. If you would go ahead and hit that like button, share this video. We had some a unfortunate incident that took place this morning at Smith State Prison, and so we came on to talk about Smith State Prison. We've been actually speaking about Smith State Prison for the last 6 or 7 months, and now today, something that has possibly took the cake out of all of that is a correction officer was killed this morning at Smith State Prison. If you haven't heard the news, there was a correction officer that was killed this morning at Smith State Prison. And so we came on to talk about the leadership at Smith State Prison. And as I said, I have my co-host here, Susan Sparks Burns. Susan, are you with me?
I am. Thank you very much for having me today. Hello, everybody. As Brian said, please like and share. This is an important topic today, one that we have discussed privately before as being inevitable. But this is the officer on your screen who has been killed today at Smith State Prison.
Right. And Susan, as we were talking before we came on before we went live, this was bound to happen, unfortunately. And we're not saying that we expect it to happen, but we are, with everything that's going on in the Department of Corrections, this was something that was just bound to happen. And luckily enough, we haven't saw a lot of this. I think this is the first correction officer that's been killed since the two at Baldwin. Is that correct?
I am not sure. I know that there was an officer suicide in a parking lot, but as far as a homicide, I cannot remember when one last happened.
Well, the last one was the two at Baldwin, the transport.
Oh yes, of course.
Transport bus.
2019.
Right. So this is the first murder of a correction officer since 2019. But what we wanted to come on and talk about was the leadership at Smith State Prison. The leadership since Jacob Beasley took over Smith State Prison has been 100% atrocious. There has been countless murders, countless violence, countless air flights or med flights. The place is absolutely out of control. And now we are starting to see it bleed over until officers are being killed because of the leadership at Smith State Prison. And, before we came on, me and Susan was talking about just all of the stuff that has been going on since Beasley took over in February, or I'm sorry, March the 2nd at Smith State Prison. There has been, as I said, countless murders, countless violence, countless life flights out of that place. And the top of the top of the totem pole, Tyrone Oliver, continues to lead this guy in leadership, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how many people have to actually die in Smith State Prison? How many people actually have to be critically injured in Smith State Prison before Tyrone Oliver makes a decision to get rid of Jacob Beasley? I mean, at this point, Susan, I don't know what else that we can do but to demand that he is gone.
He is among the least trained and least experienced of all the wardens. He has been with the Georgia Department of Corrections some 10 years, a little space in there where he was gone. But he was a deputy warden for quite a long time. And he was a deputy warden at Hayes State Prison, which is a tough place. Let's just say it that way. And then he went to Telfair, from Telfair to Valdosta, still a deputy warden, about three years in each place. And he was an interim warden at Valdosta before he came to Macon in March. However, that's not a lot of seasoning, as you'd say. Those are level 5 prisons, but that's not the kind of, it's not a broad experience. And what he's shown himself to be is unprepared, unresponsive to issues, and even cruel sometimes in his responses. He is a poor choice. And if he represents the depth of the bench at Georgia Department of Corrections, it's a sad day. There is a warden Brian and I have talked about in the past, who is at one of the county prisons as a warden. He's a warden there now, who has many years experience. It would be a wonderful choice if he could be coerced into coming and taking this job.
Yeah, and I hear you, and I agree with you, and we've talked about that. But and I'm not trying to steer you, but he has to be gone before anybody can get in that position.
Yeah.
And he has no experience whatsoever. He was a deputy warden, and you take a person like him and you put him in the worst place possible, where there was already major issues. I mean, he took over for Brian Adams, who was charged with RICO and selling drugs in the facility, and then you move him, or you arrest him, or you fire him, and then you put Beasley in this place. And it's been a 100% complete shit show. Every week there are helicopters landing at the prison. If you don't believe me, just go back and listen to the 911 calls that we've been getting since June. That's posted on the Human and Civil Rights Coalition of Georgia's page, and you can hear it from yourself for yourself. You have life flights every week coming in and out of Smith State Prison. As a matter of fact, back in May of this year, a colleague with the Human and Civil Rights Coalition actually emailed Tyrone Oliver about Jacob Beasley and the conduct and his lack thereof of experience at Smith State Prison, and told Oliver that he needed to remove Beasley as warden at Smith. I mean, I don't know. At this point, it's escalated now to officers being killed. There's a lot of questions on the staff shortages at Smith State Prison, are just like all around the state, or are experiencing high levels of no staff, and I have to question from a leadership position for Beasley is, if you have no officers, then why are the inmates allowed to walk around freely around the compound if you have no officers? And you go by their statement that they released to the media, is that this officer was escorting two inmates when he was stabbed from the back. If you have no officers, in these places, if you have no staff in these places, then why are people freely able to walk around and to move around? And then you do all of these shakedowns at Smith. I mean, Susan, you know, just like I know, because we've been hearing how they've been staying at that place. How is an inmate allowed to freely walk around with weapons?
We see them. We see them every time there's a video, and not just Smith, but Smith in particular, because we're talking about it today, and we've had a tragic death. That man's family, he's not coming home tonight.
It's astonishing. I mean, it's a completely astonishing. And you know, you have to just dissect the statement that they released to the news media an hour ago. This guy was escorting two inmates on his own, unhandcuffed. Where's the training? The training starts at the top. Obviously, Jacob Beasley is not doing his job, and he's the head of Smith State Prison. Everything goes through him. And for months and months and months, there has been complete chaos after complete chaos at that prison. And the governor and Oliver, they stand off to the side and twiddle their thumbs. And now this is what we have. Now it's bad when you have the inmates that's dying, but now you take it a step further, and you have officers that's now being killed under this leadership in the direction of Jacob Beasley. So you know, we have to call this guy has to go. This guy has to go. He's incompetent. He doesn't have the experience to be a warden. Like I said, just go back and listen to the 911 calls for yourself, and you will absolutely hear the complete and utter chaos that's taking place at Smith State Prison. Susan, you got anything? Go ahead.
This is not ridiculous. This is tragic that this happened. If I can envision what should have been happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, if he's escorting two offenders anywhere, shouldn't they be cuffed and shackled in those circumstances where he has no other assistance? He's by himself. Shouldn't he have someone with him? Am I missing something?
Well, I mean, I can't. I would imagine that there's a SOP for this, but you know, if you're escorting two inmates and you know they're obviously they were unhandcuffed.
Well, the article it doesn't say that one of them assaulted him. Is what was did someone come up from behind that? Other than those two, that it said one offender, but it doesn't say one of the two that he is.
I don't know, Susan.
I know.
I don't know. I just go. We can only just go by what the Department of Corrections has sent out to them so far, and it says that he was attacked from behind. So it's
imprecise language, and it's with GDC is often intentionally imprecise.
Right, and you know it may not even be the truth. You know, we don't know. You know, we have no clue. But you know that's just that what it amounts to is the comment on the screen. You know, the staff was on shift, felt their coworker. He should have had help. Absolutely. But that just goes back to what Susan says. We see video after video after video after video, and we never see any staff whatsoever anywhere around. And now it's bled over to their own person. It's bled over to their own person where their own coworker doesn't even have any help.
You know, this man was new to the job, and he's come out of the 4-week or 5-week training that they have supposedly teaching them the SOPs and so forth. And then he comes into a place where SOPs may mean very little.
They mean nothing.
Uh, how does one prepare a new employee for that? Um, the responsibility, of course, I'm willing to accept what they said, that he was stabbed by an inmate, but the responsibility is GDC's, safe and
Yes.
secure facilities.
Yes, they hang their hat on right now that they run safe and secure facilities is what that's what their line is right now. And if you were on the podcast Thursday night, we talked very extensively about uh, their safe and secure facilities, and that they are going after all of the contraband and stuff like this. But like I said, it makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever that as much as the tax squad and as much as they stay shaken down at Smith, that they are still able to walk freely around that place with weapons.
You've got to ask yourself, when Brian Adams was fired, and there was a period there of several weeks before he was fired that he was going to be fired. It was well known, and there had been an incident that kept them from firing him. But when he was fired, anyone who came into the same staff. It does go back to Jacob Beasley, but also to Commissioner Oliver making this choice. Now, he was new in the position, but his response when someone, whoever it was, said Jacob Beasley make a good warden, he should have said, "Convince me of that." Whoever went in there should have been convincing. At his first day there, he has a death. Well, maybe the second day.
His second day there, his second day on the job, there's a death there, and it's been continuing. It's been a continuing occurrence since his second day on the job with the violence. He's locking them down and not giving them showers for 3 and 4 days. It's just a lot of stuff, and it's not. We're not making this stuff up. We have videos of this stuff. We just chose not to release these videos, and these videos are new videos, and it shows, it depicts everything that's happening there as far as them how they're being mistreated by the staff there and by Jacob Beasley himself.
Brian, have you ever withheld a video because there were officers there?
No.
Me either. Folks, you could go back through all our videos, and the one thing you don't see is an officer.
So today is a sad day. As we said, it was to be expected. Just didn't know when. But the Department of Corrections is completely unhinged right now. It is completely it's unhinged. Just all I can say. And specifically, Smith State Prison. We have been talking about that place for months and months and months. As I said, we've posted 911 calls just to give everyone an idea on exactly what's going on at Smith. So don't take our word for it. Go back and listen to these 911 calls. Go back and watch the videos. But it makes no sense whatsoever to me. And I'm going to say it probably to the day I die. If you don't have officers in these facilities, you have to run these facilities like they have no officers.
There you go.
You have to run these facilities. You have got to stop, or you're going to start seeing more and more stuff like this. We're already seeing the inmate deaths as a result of no officers and no staff. But now you're getting into where officers are being killed and inmates are being killed and brutally hurt and life flighted away from these places, and them having to be in cells for 3 and 4 days without showers because you don't have the staff to run the showers, or you just want to be uh, uh, an asshole and leave them in a cell for 3 or 4 days without any showers. So this stuff is going on, and people need to wake up. We're not taking the GDC narrative about this when it comes to Smith State Prison and any other prison that this stuff is happening in. And this is stuff that's happening, and as a result, you're starting to see what's playing out at these places. And like I said, it's absolutely heartbreaking that this guy went to work today, and tonight he won't be going home to his family. It's absolutely horrendous. And as I said, it starts at the top. The leadership at Smith State Prison is a complete failure. And if I was a commissioner, I would be on my way to that place, and he would be gone. I mean, This, like I said, Susan, and I know I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but it has been incident after incident after incident at this place, and he has been allowed to remain in leadership at this place. And I mean, enough is enough. This is too much.
I am stunned and disappointed at the 2 sentences issued by Commissioner Oliver. The entire GDC team is mourning the loss of one of our own, and we collectively express our deepest condolences to Officer Clark's family and friends. Sentence 1. Sentence 2. We will support them, and he's referring to the GDC staff, as they navigate this tragedy over the coming days, weeks, and months. Well, that's kind and it's touching, but what about if I'm not mistaken, we're at nine deaths since March 1st, and somewhere in that at Smith. And that's all he's got to say. As they navigate this tragedy over the coming days, people besides this Officer Clark are dying too, and they're dying disproportionately at Smith State Prison. Where's the response to that?
Yeah, there's no response. They'll sweep it under the rug. And they will continue to be the shady bunch that they are. But now you have officers dying at the place, and as I said, it was evident to happen. It was on the menu to happen because the place is so chaotic and unhinged, and it's a complete lack and failure of leadership at the place. I mean, sometimes you just have to lick your chops and do something about something, and just accept that you made a bad decision. There was no reason why Jacob Beasley should have been going into a place like Smith State Prison to take over as warden with no experience whatsoever. I mean, you over down at Washington State Prison, you have a warden that's been in the system that came back. He's been in for over 30 years, I think I read.
Augusta State Prison has an officer who retired he was a regional director when he retired.
Yes, he retired as a regional director. He came in out of retirement, and now he's down at Washington State Prison. Now, you tell me you're going to put somebody like that in a prison, then okay, I can say, okay, then I can understand that. But if you're putting a deputy warden who has no experience whatsoever, and you put him at one of the worstest prisons in the state of Georgia, and he's wreaking havoc. And I mean, as I said, his decision making is beyond me. To have someone, like I said, and we're about to get off here,
Yeah.
but if you have no staff whatsoever and you run into prison like you have every post covered, and as a result of it, now you're seeing correction officer dying. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. Uh, you know, it's the kudos to the the inmate, and we're definitely sending him prayers as well, who's in the hospital for um, attempting to help Officer Clark while he was being attacked. Definitely sending prayers to him, and sending prayers and condolences to Officer Clark's family, friends, anyone, coworkers that knew him. This is tough. This is tough, Susan. And it says a lot if an inmate is actually um, trying to help this officer. Then it doesn't tell me that he may have been a bad officer.
No,
Um,
no, that's not. It doesn't. Someone jumped in to help him,
yes.
and this is a sad day that it happened, but it's an inevitable day. This has been coming since February 8th.
Yes. So until this guy is gone from Smith State Prison, until he's gone, then we're going to continue to see this carnage and this madhouse and the chaos taking place at Smith State Prison. I hate to, I hate to that we're having to discuss this guy for the fourth or fifth time. But it has to be discussed, and until something is done about it, and until he's removed from Smith State Prison, we've saw what's going to happen at Smith State Prison. He's been there for 9 months, 8 months, 9 months, and every day has been complete and utter chaos and madness. And he's actually started because of his incompetence to lead. Excuse me. He's actually now started taking it out on the people in his care, and that's unacceptable. The GDC has to step up and acknowledge that they made a mistake by putting him in there, and he needs to go. I mean, he has got to go, and that's the gist of it.
In no way do I believe that Beasley himself made all the mistakes involved here. I think that this is an issue that goes to the very top of GDC, and once the carnage began, that should have been the time. Pull him out. We can, if they believed in him and that he should be in a fast track to a prison warden, put him someplace like Montgomery State Prison, someplace like where it's a smaller facility, and for that matter, put him someplace like Floyd County Prison as a deputy warden, and let him get some seasoning out of a facility that pretty much runs by the book, and it's about the same size, frankly, as Montgomery State Prison. But there are places that are not carnage every day, and you've got to wonder at the entire staff, were they looked at carefully, and who does he have to depend on at Smith State Prison? We are aware, we know it to be a fact that when Anthony Zeno died, he laid on his bunk inside of a mat for 5 days before he was found. And when the log sheet was looked at, there had been no officers in that dorm for 9 days. And that's also on this man, on Jacob Beasley's watch.
Yeah, it's astonishing, and It's coming to fruition. It's coming to light. As I said, go back and look at the videos from Smith State Prison since February. Go back and listen to the 911 calls since June, and you can see it for yourself. Don't take our word for it. It's not our opinion. Yes, we're giving you our opinion uh, on his lack of leadership, um, and his incompetent to be a warden. But is evident is, and what's facts is the 911 calls and the videos and all of that stuff that we've posted over the last 9 months taking place under his watch. And if they can't see all of that stuff and realize that there's a major problem going on, then they have even more bigger issues than we highlight. So, like I said, hearts prayers goes out to um, Officer Clark's family. Um, with the loss of their loved one, to his coworkers, and also to the inmate who did survive that tried to help Officer Clark, who's in the hospital in critical condition because he was also stabbed. And then there was also a medical worker that was injured as well. Um, so please keep those in your thoughts and prayers. Another thing, before we get off here is, the comments on these posts today has been all over the place, from uh, from upset loved ones that have lost people and people that care about incarcerated people, and then some outsiders on the other side who think that it's fine when an inmate dies, but when an officer dies, then we got a problem. Um, but the temperature is high, and everybody needs to step back and try to show compassion, try to show um, you know whatever they can show. It's a tough issue, and it's a slippery slope when it comes to this stuff. But no life should be lost. I don't care if it's an inmate or a officer. No life should ever be lost in any of these places. And we have got to, or not we, they have got to solve this problem, um, because it's a major problem now, and it's unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, we haven't um, saw this, but it was on the horizon. It could be happening more, um, and fortunate enough, it's not. So, I hope that they wrap their hand around Smith, and something has to be uh, shook up there and ASAP. Susan, I'll let you close us.
Okay, folks, this is we don't come to you today with any joy whatsoever. This is the same seriousness as we've been coming to you for each week for months. GDC needs to hear our voices. If you have not planned to be there, now's the time to make your plan to be there on Tuesday at this rally that we're having, and we're having it in front of the Georgia governor's house, the governor's mansion. It's at the address is 391 West Paces Ferry, Northwest Atlanta. So we want you to be there. We still have some shirts available. We're going to let them go for $15, and the shirts say "Incarcerated Lives Matter." And we're going to be there. We want to be loud and proud to be there. I'm not ashamed that my son went to prison and came out as lucky as a man can be, as blessed as a man can be. But that's exactly why I do what I do, because the vast majority of people do not have that experience, and it's on both sides of the wire there, whether they're incarcerated or they're working there. We've got some comments today from some officers that are stark. When you have a chance, read through our comments today. Again, hope to see you on Tuesday. Try and get there. I think try and get to a parking place. 1 o'clock, 1:30, something like 1 o'clock or 1:30. I would say 1:30 at the latest.
We're starting at 1 o'clock, so if you're there at 1:30, you just
that'd be a problem. I apologize. Try and be there noonish. 12:30 at the latest, because it's going to take some time to get to the governor's mansion. Thank you, Queen Nikki. Everybody, show up.
Yeah, this here, what has transpired today, this rally and protest on Tuesday now definitely will definitely be even more important now, because all of this is going on, and you still have you have the governor that's just there and just sitting back watching as all of the carnage takes place, and it's unfortunate. If you want to volunteer at the rally, we need some volunteers. If you're watching this or will be watching it, we need some volunteers. We'll have a table set up. We need people to man the tables, and we need your help if you're available to help us out on Tuesday. Please send us an email. I'm going to put the email on the screen really quick if I can. If you can, send an email if you're able to volunteer. Let us know. We could definitely use your help for a couple hours, and getting T-shirts out and a couple other things that we need to get out to people. But as Susan said, please get there. Please be there with us. We need you to be loud. We need everyone's support, because if we don't do this now, there's just going to continue to be more carnage, and as we see now, it's starting to have officers killed. So we need everyone to come out if you can on Tuesday. Weather's going to be nice. So we need your help. We need your support.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here on such short notice.
All righty. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday, and thank y'all for coming on.